Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness, did you all hear that echo just now? Let me close that out. Wow, that was too much. Way too much. Okay, I got a million screens open here. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Leave us any rules, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. There's nothing that we won't try. Never heard the word impossible this time. There's no stopping us. All right. Little Laverne and Shirley interlude while I clean up my mess. Okay. I often wonder how long is this computer going to last me? So far, so good. But I definitely put a computer through its paces. Okay. Hello, Bunny Rose, Jessica Foreman, Francilia, Mr. McGregor. Hello. The Ultimate TV channel? Sure is. Oh no, that's the name. Okay. Anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? Let me see. Oh my goodness. A member for 12 months. Thank you so much for that. Wise Words has been a member for 12 months. I really, really do appreciate that. 12 months. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a member. Angela M., thank you so much for being first today. All right. I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. The hate campaign continues. As a matter of fact, this is a recycled thumbnail. I didn't even have to make one today because, well, it continues. And we'll get into that. I'm kind of struggling today with this. One of the squaddies shared this. I've never seen it before, but I was aware that it's been reported that Venezuela has the largest oil reserves on the planet, not to mention all of the other minerals that are necessary for tech. I'm searching for the words. I'm searching for the words. I know what I want to say, but I just want to make sure I get this right. Um, or do I care to get it right? I don't know. I'm very, very, very upset about this. The last time I felt something like this, it was to do with Iraq years ago. I was so bothered by that. Oh no, I take it back. Well, okay, this particular feeling, yes, Iraq. One of the worst feelings, one of the things that really emotionally was like a punch in the gut, and it made me really sad, was January 6th. And this seemingly unstoppable occupant just keeps um, uh, I guess, what am I trying to say here? It's very emotional, but he keeps ignoring the Constitution, ignoring the concept of co-equal branches of government. There are three branches of government, co-equals. The legislator branch, the House of Representatives and the Senate, the upper and lower chambers, if you will. You have the judicial, which is the Supreme Court. And then you have the executive. So one branch makes laws, the other branch enforces the law, and then you even have the courts to interpret the law. But they're not doing their jobs, just like the media. We depend on the media. What is it? The fourth estate, the third estate, whatever it is, the fourth estate, the fifth estate. I always get confused. I forget which estate it is. But after all of those three branches of government, then you have the media. They're not doing their jobs because they're all part of big media conglomerates. So you cannot trust them to do their jobs. Nobody's doing their jobs. Nobody is calling out, at least when I say nobody, I mean within the press or within the government. I did read somewhere that there is a judge who has ordered the immediate release of the president of Venezuela, and he should also be returned to his country. The likelihood of that, I don't expect anything like that to happen. I don't think it's a big surprise that the attack and the eventual arrest that is happen. That's no surprise. But the fact that it all happened so fast, that a leader, whether or not we like him, is in his pajamas. He's in his pajamas with his wife 1 minute, and then he's being bundled out by the United States the next minute. Just that fast. The fact that there seemed to be so little resistance is a clear indication that he really was not that popular. I don't know what his living arrangements were, but usually someone who is under that level of threat moves from one house to the next. But 303 billion barrels of oil compared to Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, only 74 billion barrels of oil in the United States and 163 billion barrels of oil in Canada. If this is all the oil that there is on the planet, when does it run out? When does it run out? But and that's what it seems to be about, is the oil. Is all about the oil. It really begs the question, would the United States do this to Canada? Would the United States do this to Greenland? It should not have happened to the Iraqis. Iraq was the best educated population in that region of the world. And sadly, for a lot of the Middle East, it was, centuries of Jews, Christians, and Muslims all living in the same country, all living peacefully until the United States showed up. And then all of a sudden, you have fanatics running around chasing the Christians. I mean, it's hard to believe that there is a Jewish population that lives in Iran, of all places, but there is. And it was like that all over the Middle East until we, do what we do. So I have a lot of feelings about this, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but that really bothered me today. I mean, I went to bed and I read that, that they were under attack. And then when I woke up, the first thing I read was that he was kidnapped from his country. It's not an arrest; it's a kidnapping. Yeah, the rare earth minerals are now an asset, but I thought that China had promised that they were going to protect them in some type of way. But this is why if you have weapons of mass destruction, you are safe. If you don't have weapons of mass destruction, you are vulnerable. And so, right now, I'm pretty sure that a lot of nations in the Western Hemisphere are weighing their options. Do we need to have more than just a few planes and missiles? Do we need something more strategic? But nothing good is going to come of this. Now, here's the thing, though. Um, I don't suppose that there's going to be any backlash. There will be public outcry, but the level of backlash that would make a difference, I don't suspect there will be any. Um, the media is bought and paid for. Congress bought and paid for. The whole thing is all tied up in a nice, neat bundle, and there's going to be plenty said on social media, but that plenty said on social media is not going to undo this. It's done, and I don't know what's going to happen with Maduro, but I mean, I hope he's returned back home because whether he's a good guy or not, it's none of our business to do things like that. That's for the people of Venezuela. And the only reason why we don't do the same thing with Cuba is uh, I'm told that there was an agreement with the Soviet Union that this thing does not happen. Plus, there's no oil in Cuba. If there was oil in Cuba, then, you know, I don't need to tell you what happened. But we're not that hungry for cigars. It's oil that they're after. Again, it's the oil. And hey, I get it. There's a strategic interest there, but there's still no justification. You know, you guys have heard me be extremely liberal about immigration. And this is the reason why, because mass migration, immigration, whatever you want to call it, these things do not happen because people just want to be here or they just want to be in the UK. It happens because of things like this. This is why it happens when you destabilize a country like Venezuela or any place else. Venezuelan people have been running north to the United States, but they've also gone to Peru and Chile and Brazil, all over. They have had to leave for economic reasons. And if you're wondering, well, why would they have so much oil and yet their, economy is so bad? Sanctions, sanctions. Our government places sanctions on people that we cannot control. So we try to control their economy. And actually, it's not controlling the economy. It is We devastate their economy. Um, we punish anyone who helps them, which is why Cuba is in such a state. And don't even get me started with Haiti. Haiti has been the whipping boy of the Western industrial world for a long time. France has been punishing the Haitians for what, 200 years, 250 years? A debt which has only been paid off. Yeah, has it ever been paid off? I think it's only been paid off recently. Money that could have built roads or hospitals or whatever infrastructure was a debt paid to France for the loss of their plantations when Haiti was just a colony, a slave colony. So much going on in politics. And again, I don't want to spend the day going through all that stuff, but man, this is just awful. It is awful. It does not appeal to our better angels. It is a real smear on our character. And I do say ours because um, it's our tax dollars, it's our government. But yeah, um, they would never do something like this to a country that can defend itself. As much as they want to, um, if they thought they could do something like this with Iran, they probably would have by now. But there would be too much to lose if that was were to happen. So I don't know what's going to happen from here on out, but yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, loss of free labor. Yeah, you know what's really sad is that the Haitians turned to the U.S. like, "Hey, look at us. We managed to purge our home from that tyrannical French government. We're just like you. We want freedom. We want democracy." And what did the United States say? But you all are black, so we're not going to help you. That's pretty much what they were saying. If Haiti was an island of white people, yeah, the United States may have sided with them, but um, because it was free Africans or Africans who freed themselves, they got no love from the U.S. Ella Parker, good morning to you too. Thank you so much for being here. Anyway, I am home alone. I returned my great niece back to her family, and that officially closes out Christmas 2025. And well, maybe not because I still have to deal with my Christmas tree. I got lights outside and everything, so it's not completely gone. But I'm gonna leave. What did I? Is it King's Day? Is the 7th of January when the last of the three kings arrived in Bethlehem, or something like that? So that's my excuse for doing nothing until the 7th. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my Christmas tree with my little fireplace and all the other accoutrements that I have. Okay. Um, I hear there was a full moon. I don't know. I have not seen the night sky. It has been overcast, I think, but I hear tell of a full moon. If that is correct, I hope to see it, but I think I may have missed it. But I keep seeing people posting full moon images like this one by Van Gogh, I believe it is. I've never seen this painting before, but I'm digging it. I am really digging it. And a reminder, it is 2026. If your walls are bare, please put some art in your home somewhere. Go and find a nice print or painting or something. Put something on those walls, something that you don't mind looking at again and again. If there's something at a museum that speaks to you, then buy a print of it professionally framed and slap that bad boy up on the wall so your home will have some kind of something. You know what I mean? Just do it. Don't worry about putting holes in the wall if you're renters. Don't worry about it because if you can't define your space, it's almost like it's not your home. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. Life is too short. So put some art on the walls. Yes, you know, yeah, the I've seen a lot of veterans look at the current occupant of the White House and they say this is not what we fought for. And that is very sad to know that they fought for us to have freedom, right? But they did not fight for us to take freedom away from other people or to subjugate their countries like that, to put our thumbs on them or to put our foot on them like that. That is not what they fought for. But what can we do? As individuals, we are helpless. There were protests today, but hey, there was protests for the war in Iraq. What came of it? Now, this is a. I wish that I could have actually watched this, but I was unable to watch it because I live in the US and so far I haven't seen any clips floating around. But Nico Max says so. Channel 5 is doing a two-part character attack on Meghan Sussex. The what is that? Nick Ed? Is that how you pronounce the name? Is the only one pretending he ever spoke to her in real life. Once Google him. Let me see. I don't know who that Nick Ed person is. Huh? Well, let me see. Oh, that guy, the one on the bottom left. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't think I've ever. Oh, I'm just looking at some of the stuff. Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster. They all are. Well, or maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't want to. I haven't been able to watch it, so I don't want to say. But it says Megan branded manipulative and explosive Channel 5 documentary. Bombshell, of course, that word they love to throw around. Show the Bombshell show reveals how the Duchess of Sussex fought her way to stardom before meeting Prince Harry. Okay, what of it? Meghan was brutally torn apart on the Channel 5 latest documentary titled Meghan. During the first episode, the Duchess of Sussex childhood um, slow rise to stardom, big break, marriage to Prince Harry, and eventual departure from the UK were dissected by a group of royal experts, journalists, and biographers. Take a look at those people. Some of those spaces are very familiar, and we know that they are very unfriendly. After exploring her letter to Procter and Gamble, as an 11-year-old, they spoke about her struggle to get into the acting industry, which prompted her to write an anonymous blog and the working actress before landing a role in Netflix's Suits. Well, Suits was not Netflix's, right? You can see that, and this is, by the way, the Express. I'm reading from the Express of all people. Netflix's Suits. You mean to tell me that Suits originated with Netflix? Somebody's not doing their homework. While the website has since been suspended, the Netflix star used the blog to detail the pitfalls and triumphs of struggling to make it in Hollywood. The episode then highlighted an excerpt of her writing in which she advised other aspiring actresses to use their sex appeal to gain attention from bosses. This is the first I've heard of that. So, um, yeah, that's the first I've heard of something like that. I'm not going to put too much to that. The editor at large for the Daily Mail, Charlotte Griffith, said Megan starts a blog called The Working Actress, and it was kind of how to get ahead, how to manipulate the system. Is that her words, or is that from this Charlotte person? How to game the system when you're a struggling actress on the up. She's a manipulative person, as commentator Kinsey Schofield added. The Working Actress blog, in my opinion, was a marketing strategy. Wow, what a revelation. Let's see this. Okay, skip that part, skip that part. All right, so it says here, uh, oh no, that's a, is that the end of it? Is that the end of the article? God, they don't have much to say, do they? How am I missing something here? Wait, there's got to be more. You know, the Express likes to break things up with a million advertisements. Okay, I think I got it. But you know what? There's not much more to it. Keeping, keep in mind when the Working Actress blog launches, Gossip Girl is the hottest show on television. As the commentator continued, it's all about this anonymous blogger who is wrecking havoc on everyone's lives, but it's the anonymous blogger's part that's interesting. The documentary then highlighted an entry titled How to Hitchhike. Have you guys heard of any blog like that before? Because this is the first time I've heard of that. To which a voice actor portraying Megan could be heard reading an excerpt from the blog and said, flash a little smile, stick out your thumb, and grab a ride with a passing cart. A passing cart? Or should that be car? That might be a typo. The editor went on, and another thing she said in the blog was that the voiceover chimed, red is such a good color on you. It makes you look like, oh no, I'm not saying that. I don't know about this right here. Anyway, this is the first I've heard of that blog. I know. I haven't heard of any of this either. I probably won't watch this, but just so you know, they have done a two-parter. Channel 5 has done a two-parter, which is nothing, in my opinion, but a hatchet job. The fact that they would invite the likes of a Kinsey Schofield, um, and dare I say, once again, we have eight white people, eight white people going to do this character assassination on a woman of African descent, an American, and someone minding their business. I don't get why. Actually, let me stop saying that. I get it. It's for the money. I get that. It's for the money. But it's also a distraction. This is what I was saying yesterday. There is a big rollout for Kate in the works for this year. And the only way Kate can be so um, elevated is they have to tear down Meghan. And 2025, in spite of what they were saying, 2025 has been incredibly successful for the Duchess of Sussex. She has established her brand, um, the As Ever, right? She's had the 3 seasons, well, the 2 seasons plus a Christmas special of With Love, Megan. Um, Also, there was the Masaka kids. We have the Girl Scout Queen or Cookie Queen coming up, and other things that are in the works. Plus, we know that there's probably going to be maybe a couple of trips abroad coming up in 2026. They're not satisfied with Kate's popularity. I think they want Kate to be a much bigger person, um, you know, in every way possible. They want her to be a bigger person whenever she takes the throne, because otherwise, everything about Kate looks so small in comparison to Meghan. I mean, those 63 alleged 63 engagements that she had for 2025 is not cutting it. There's nothing so memorable. I can't remember anything about Kate for 2025 except the Christmas Carol. That's it. There's no big points for Kate going to Troop in the Color. There's no big points for Kate doing the Wimbledon. Those are not things that she's doing more than she's just showing up. This does not require any work from her other than showing up. She does not administer, she does not guide, she does not supervise. She shows up. Whereas Meghan has been seen in several interviews speaking, uh, and when I say speaking, I mean very fluently speaking about business, about the business of having a business, having a product, scaling up, scaling down, all of those things. It has been a very visual year for Meghan, not so much for Kate. Kate's best dress list showing is is pretty small. There haven't been many magazines praising Kate's wardrobe for 2025. It just hasn't been. The staples like Hello and Tatler and all those things, and a British Vogue, they just, they have to make a fuss over her. They just have to. But aside from that, not so much. Not so much. So 2025 was not a good year for Kate. It really wasn't. It wasn't a good year for Kate. It ended on a real sour note with that Forest Lodge. And so I think there is an attempt to market Kate as more engaged. Yesterday, I saw someone wrote in the comments that they give zero concern or whatever about what Kate is doing. And I can understand that. However, I don't think people really appreciate that that institution is incredibly dangerous. They are dangerous people. Anytime that a father withdraws security for his son, for his daughter in law, and their children, refuses security for them, whether it's a trip abroad. I don't think Harry should be paying for security, even in the US. That's my opinion. He is the son of a head of state. He should not pay. He should be provided with the best possible security at no cost. His father has the means to do it, and he should. Okay, so Harry says he'll take care of his security in the US. Fine. But whenever he goes to the UK, there should be no question about that. Those are very dangerous people. And what that means, I'll let you sort it out. But they're very dangerous people. And it's better to know what they're doing than to not know, because they do not mean well for the Sussexes. They really don't. Harry cannot afford to just, and I'm not even going to just say Harry, neither of them can afford to take them for granted. You just cannot. Character assassination is their main weapon. So, right there, who really is Meghan Markle? This explosive two-part series peels back the layers of this unique woman who went from ordinary LA schoolgirl to almost destroying the British monarchy. Do you hear that language? To almost destroying the British monarchy? Shouldn't they reserve that language for Andrew, the sick old man? Now, what if some lunatic takes that literally as a thing? I'm sorry, but Megan is not safe. She is not safe because of things like that. That is disgusting. Almost destroying the British monarchy. Meghan almost destroyed the British monarchy, not Charles having an adulterous affair, right? Not Andrew with all of his hijinks, not a string of divorces among senior royals. No, none of that stuff made any difference. It was Harry leaving because he wanted to protect his family, and that nearly destroyed the monarchy. That's very serious as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, not the Princess Royale in her Napoleon outfit. No, she's not hurting him at all. Yeah, I don't like this language. I can understand that. I can understand that. It just does not feel safe. I mean, the best way to do anything is to hide in plain sight. You want to make sure she get the works, huh? Let's see. The eight of them talking about Megan for 2 hours isn't going to make Kate more interesting. Well, it's not to make Kate more interesting. It is to create a choice between two people that could not be more different if they tried. Um, they just want people to have a very negative reaction at the mention of Megan's name. That's all there is that they want people to have this um, knee jerk reaction every time Megan comes up. Every time Megan is seen, they want people to feel negativity. They want to create a response that is very um what is the word I'm looking for? Like that impulse that they want that impulse to be um that you hiss, right? They want you to just hiss with anger. They want you seething with anger at at the very mention of her. It's all deliberate. It's like I always say, it's Coke or Pepsi. They want you to love Coke and hate Pepsi. So yeah, it's not making Kate a smarter person or anything like that. It's just they want Kate to be considered an alternative to someone who almost destroyed the monarchy. Kate has been written about as dutiful. Um, I mean, just the past week, some of the stuff that they've written about her makes her sound like she is Queen Elizabeth 2.0. That she has the same stoicism as Queen Elizabeth. They want you to associate Kate with Queen Elizabeth, someone who could not stand her. And they want you to associate Meghan and Harry with Andrew, like the trifecta that nearly destroyed the monarchy. It's all intentional. It really is. They want to dim the Sussexes and replace them with what? Uh, um, don't forget, too, they also want people to be very wary of working with them, very wary of being seen with them. That's the other part of it is they want people to avoid them, to disengage, to reject them. Because if they can do that successfully, they can cut off the money. They don't want them to be able to earn money. Royal Family Live. King Charles to face dilemma over requests from Prince Harry. King Charles is expected to make a trip to the U.S. this year. Now, what is the dilemma? Whether or not to go and visit Harry, or whether or not to invite Harry to visit him and the children, right? To have Charles and the grand. We don't know if there's any negotiation going on here. This is just a money grab. This is a what do you call it? Clickbait. It's just clickbait. They're going to keep talking about this until Charles is back on the plane and headed to the UK. And nope, I take that back because they're going to make the case that Charles is likely on his way to Montecito. But until Charles is back in the UK, it will be assumed that there's a chance of reconciliation, a chance of Charles um, going to Montecito. I would be shocked if that happened, of course. I really would. I hope it doesn't happen because I don't want Charles going anywhere near their home. That home is a place of love and peace, and nobody wants old chubby fingers there. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that, but I know that this is just a bunch of nonsense to keep people engaged. They're going to be doing this until whenever. Now, Becky the Blob, Big Head Becky. And what's the other one? Anyway, I was working on something because I took a good measure of this individual and I found her wanting in her character. And also, I just don't like her. Rebecca English. Rebecca English is part of the Royal Rota, but I think she indirectly works for the Royals, Kensington Palace, as well as Clarence House. Let me explain. Of course, some of you all have know how I feel about her. Like right here, it says, where are we? How the king plans to deal with the two albatrosses around the royal family's neck. Rebecca English on Charles' deadline to evict Andrew and the chances of a reconciliation with Harry. This is all propaganda. This is all propaganda. Most likely, I'm going to allege it originates from Kensington Palace because the last thing Kensington Palace wants, meaning Willie, is for Harry to make an appearance with his father. Harry making an appearance with Charles would be absolutely devastating for William. And I think that a lot of this is publicly coercing Charles not to make any plans. There, in all likelihood, I don't think Charles is going to meet with the Sussexes because that would overshadow the entire trip. And maybe that's why William is so bothered because if Charles meets with Harry and Meghan and the children, whatever negotiation Charles is here to promote will disappear. It will be crushed under the weight of any type of reunion with the Sussexes. And they know this. So, in all likelihood, it is not going to happen. But her job right now, her main job is to uplift and elevate the Waleses. And that, of course, is William and Kate. That is the main thing that she does from one day to the next is to try to explain away any deficits where Will and Kate is concerned. So there was a video called The Voices, Daily Mail Voices, little vignettes from some of the most evil writers in the world, right? Rebecca English, why Prince William is embracing change to keep the monarchy relevant when he becomes king. Now, you know, this is a direct quote, a direct, actually, this was um, this was probably orchestrated between Rebecca English and Kensington Palace. In all likelihood, they sat down and strategized a way to connect, or at the very least associate, youth and William. Youth and William, because they have a big problem. The problem is usually some of the younger people in the UK, they don't really care for the royal family. But then when they get older, they become more conservative and then they become more pro royal. Well, the problem is the Gen Zs are not connecting as well as they would have if they were other generations like the baby boomers or whatever, or Generation X. They are just not connected. And so Rebecca English believes that she and the Royal Rhoda is going to make the young people care about the royal family. When the Queen died, did they not see all of those young people on the streets of the UK when they would interview them? What would they say? Oh, well, she's a colonizer. And they were talking about the Queen who just died. They were calling Queen Elizabeth a colonizer. I remember this. I said, I am going to give a respectful week before we start discussing some of the, things about Queen Elizabeth. That was quickly abandoned. I think I got through the first day. But then I noticed that everybody, everybody who had any kind of bone to pick with the royals, they were dragging them left, right, and center. So I'm just like, you know what? F it. And I joined in on the chorus of how awful that institution is. I mean, I really had no choice. I couldn't withhold it any longer because it's exactly how I feel. And everyone else was freely discussing it. That's why they panicked when Kate was the butt of the joke. Because if they could not control that narrative with Kate, then the royal family would not ever be taken serious again. So they had to come up with a way to shut down all of the speculations about her whereabouts. Let me see. Simone Black. I'm upset about how that woman destroyed Cintabale. Karma is coming for her. Thank you so much for the super chat. Well, they say that Harry is never going back to Cintabale. I have a problem with that statement because Harry was a founder. Harry was a fundraiser, but Harry did not run the day-to-day operations. Actually, he didn't run it at all. Harry or Princeso, they were there for moral support, for fundraising. But they had a board of directors, they had a chairman or chairperson, and that was Sophie. And Sophie squandered years of goodwill, years of success was squandered. And I also read that next year, Centabale will not even exist. Did you guys see that? Where they said that Centabale is going to shut down for good? Now, I don't know how true that is, but Sophie is not able to carry the weight of Centabale. Sophie really was dependent upon Harry. Yes, the fake doctor needed Harry in the worst possible way. Harry is no longer available to the fake doctor. So Centabale uh, is pretty much on the verge of collapse. And remember, it's not even a paid position. It is not a paid position. She sued to maintain a position that is unpaid. She even quoted how much she would have been paid in the private sector and was demanding payment from Centibale. I think it speaks volumes about Prince Harry's character that despite everything that has been thrown at Harry or thrown at the Sussexes, there are people still eager to work with them. By the way, thank you so much for that super chat. In case I didn't say it. Okay, let's take a look at this because there was some comments in that video, and I grabbed just a few of them. Comments like, hang on, this is just a PR spin. The bloke is petulant and self-obsessed. The whole monarchy, should I say, thing is no longer fit for purpose. Now they're speaking about her video that she made referencing William's future, right? Also, it says more video of royals and less of Rebecca on screen. And then the next one says he is part of Circle WEF, etc., and he is partly to blame, along with his father, for the damage to the Amazon forest and other nastiness. Not my king and not my future king. Woo! So this person is blaming Charles and his dim-witted son for them destroying part of the rainforest in Brazil for that, whatever that something was, comp 35 or 25, something like that. Anyway, they have destroyed a lot of forests just to put a road in there so that they could be amongst nature when they talk about saving nature. They could have done that down at the Howard Johnson or the Holiday Inn ballroom or something. They didn't have to destroy part of the rainforest to do that. Okay. And then, of course, the last one, William is the worst person that should be king. He has no morals and is only out for damage to his ever successful brother and his family. The monarchy has died with late Queen Elizabeth II. Well, there you go. Yes, they could have used a Zoom call. They didn't have to go and meet in person. Let me show you some of Rebecca English and her boot licking. How about this one? She's coming to her own. Princess of Wales wasn't always comfortable during royal engagements, but is now an impressive communicator. This is the kind of crap that I'm talking about. It's all about pepping them up and trying to make them seem like they're capable people. And we know better. I mean, come on. We all have seen Kate in action, and it is not pretty. She is an effective communicator. Seriously? She's not any different. She's the same person that she was when she first entered that family. She has not improved in the least bit. If anything, she's worse. So, anyway, I have evidence.
Face the daily challenge at finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact. Leaders, you'll face the daily challenge at finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
That's the effective communicator. Now, I do believe this article predates Kate's disappearance, but that is Rebecca English trying to elevate Kate Middleton. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that, but it makes Rebecca English look foolish. But listen, you guys, Rebecca English, she should be congratulated for her tremendous weight loss. Now, I suspect I know how that happened, but that ain't none of my business. But I could not help but notice that she reminds me of some characters from a movie that's been actually, I think they're on their third time making this, or fourth time this movie has been updated, right? They keep revisiting that same story. Um, but she reminds me of those characters. Do you guys know which characters I'm speaking of? Anybody? I mean, if you had to pick a character from the movies, just taking a good look at Rebecca English, who does she remind you of? What does she remind you of? The Loompa Oompas. The Oompa Loompas? She reminds me of the Oompa Loompas, right? I don't know if it's the hair, if it's the square jaw, or something. She reminds me of the Oompa Loompas. Plus, she ain't that tall either. But I see her and I see Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa Loompa dee dum. It da 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 da. Yeah, she she gives me Oompa Loompa. I'm sorry. No disrespect to the Oompa Loompas of the world, but this broad is giving me the Oompa Loompas. And I had to really take a deep dive because now I cannot stop seeing it. Every time I look at the Oompa Loompas, I see Rebecca English. Oompa Loompa. Rebecca Oompa Loompa um, English. Now, there's another way I have figured out to demonstrate and prove to you that I do believe, because I'm always trying to figure out if somebody's a love child. Now, I haven't figured out who her parents really are, or was. Anyway, okay, okay. Maybe she's wearing a wig and heavy makeup, but up under that is that. I am sure of it. I am more than certain that if you were to wipe away that heavy foundation, if you were to take that ridiculous wig off her head, this is exactly what she looks like. That is the real. I repeat, that is the real Rebecca Oompa Loompa English. Yep, that is the Oompa Loompa Rebecca English. Still don't believe me, do you? Still don't believe me? Well, okay. How about when Rebecca English took this photo with Harry, right? Which, by the way, it really bothers me that she probably considered herself a friend to Harry, and now she has been trying to destroy him along with the rest of the um, heartless uh, royal roader. But I do believe that this is not an accurate image of Rebecca English. Now, I had to use some software to remove this image of her which was used to disguise the real image of Rebecca English. And there she goes. See what I mean? Oompa loompa loopity dum. If you stop hiding, we'll find the right one. Yeah, that is Rebecca Oompa Loompa English. I knew I'd figure it out. I knew I'd figure it out. And what do you know? Jumpin' Jack Flash, I found the real Rebecca English. Rebecca English has been exposed as an Oompa Loompa. I mean, the same hairstyle, except for her hair is green, right? So that means that this is a clever wig that she's wearing. But the truth is, uh, white teeth, white eyebrows, orange skin, green hair, Oompa Loompa. Yes, Oompa Loompa. They're a breed of their own. Now, Graham Smith. Graham Smith is no friend to the monarchy. As you know, he wants to rid the country of the monarchy. Radicals who want to change our national anthem couldn't be more wrong. Well, Graham Smith says radicals, huh? The anthem is widely derided as what is that? Tedious and uninspiring. Tedious, that is, and uninspiring. Asking many people to ask a God they don't believe in to save a monarch they don't support. Well, I guess if someone's an atheist, that would be problematic. But even God fearing, God loving people still do not really want to, you know, ask for to protect someone the likes of, those two. Um, I mean, it's just not done. But then you have this national anthem, God Save the King. God save our precious King. How does that go? Something like that. But yeah, God Save the King. That is the national anthem. It is kind of weird, isn't it? How strange. Oh, well. King, humans must respect planet because there's nowhere else to go. This man, with one of the largest personal carbon footprints in the UK, yeah, how could Charles say something like that? And he and his dim-witted son are two of the most prolific, most horrible, uh, what do you call it? Creators of carbon emissions compared to anyone else in the UK. Yeah, they have been terrible to the planet. The 2025 Royal Carol Together at Christmas concert reportedly landed at number 42 in the UK TV ratings chart, which suggests it was not reach it did not reach the top 10 most watched programs. Megan did, of course, but not um, you know, not Kate. So failure, loser, failure, and a short-sighted panty waist. Now, let's close the night out with a few fun things, shall we? I couldn't wait to get to this stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, for instance, check it out. Could you imagine this happening? I mean, this is a little cartoon, but it's Christmas. And if your cat could talk, your cat says, I puked in the kitchen. And then as the cat is walking down the hallway, Merry Christmas. Isn't that just like a cat to puke up those fur balls and everything, leaving you to clean it up, and then they just kind of walk past? Merry Christmas. I puked in the kitchen. I love that one. But wait, there's more. There's more. Any coffee drinkers, check it out. You don't really want to hear from anyone until you have your morning coffee, right? So if the coffee is at that line, that means shh. If it's in the middle, that means almost. It's almost time for you to talk to me. And then once you get down to that level, now you may speak. I need a cup like that. I really do. As a way to warn people, get up off of me until I have my coffee. And of course, this is how it starts every year. Look at poor Shelley Duvall. You think the thing that she was most afraid of was Jack Nicholas. Is it Jack Nicholson? Nicholas? Anyway, the actor in the movie The Shining. You would think the thing that scared her the most was him whacking through that door with an axe. No, what really scared her is when she saw that microphone break through the door. And then all of a sudden, there was Mariah Carey once again. I don't want. Yeah, I would be more afraid of Mariah Carey starting the whole season of her singing that darn song again. I'd be more afraid of that than Jack Nicholson with that hammer, with that axe. I'd take my chances with the axe. Sorry, I'd take my chances. And look at this. This kid takes the ball and throws it and expect the dog to go and get it. And the dog's like, I can't be bothered. So the dog was like, you know what? I'll throw his phone. I love that. See it? The dog's throwing the phone. I think that's fair. I really do think that's fair. Leave that kid alone. I mean, leave that dog alone. The dog don't want to be bothered. You done threw his ball, so he threw your phone. Born to be wild, but I have bills to pay. You know, if you have a wild streak, but you have bills to be paid, you had better suppress whatever you're feeling. Let it go because you got bills to pay, especially it's the first of the month. You got bills to pay, so you cannot afford to be a wild child. Yeah. Nope, you can't afford to be wild. You got bills to pay. Or how about this? Let's say that you are visually impaired and you order a seeing eye dog. So that way you'll have a dog to guide you through this world. Well, this poor guy, I think they made a mistake. You see that? Instead of having a dog that can guide him through the world, well, this guide dog actually is you know, a trained, what do you call him? A Doshan? Uh, a trained tour guide. This is a Marguerite painted in 1964. A Marguerite. Okay, next one. Um, Ladies, has this happened to you? Have you asked your husband to assemble something from IKEA and he decided he did not need to read the instructions? Yeah, well, this could happen to anyone. It really could. This poor woman, all she wanted was a nice little um, full size mirror. So There you go. Oh, this one is interesting. Guys, I forgot my sheet, but I'm here. Get it? I forgot my sheet, but I'm here. I like that irony. Or how about this one? Um, no thanks. Do you know how much sugar is in those things? The one witch is cooking her brew, right? She's stirring that huge cauldron. And then the other witch tries to offer her something that they usually throw in their stew or broth or whatever. But she's like, mm-mm, I don't want that. Those things are full of sugar. Yeah, that's kind of bad, but I love it. I think it's kind of funny. Okay. Well, that was fun. How about this one? Let's say your enemy has already poured some tea for you and even added milk, and you drink it only to see this message at the bottom: you've been poisoned. And then, of course, when you drop the cup on the floor, take a look at the saucer. Bye. Bye bye. Bye. Hey, you guys, check it out. Free lip piercings. Yes, if you go down to the ocean or to any body of water where there are fishermen or fisherwomen, you can go for a free piercing. Won't cost you a thing. You know, there are some fish that like a little piercing. Yep, that's fun, right? Oh, look who's in heaven. Look who's in heaven and just as feisty as ever. Well, well, well. If it isn't Mrs. Bucket, it's Bouquet. It's Bouquet. Anyway, you guys, that will complete the Royal Sussex for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Love you guys, and I will see you next time. Cheers.